Hello, my name is Michael Sutton. It has happened to just about everybody. You walk out to your car in the morning or after school or work, and you turn the key in your ignition and nothing happens. It's extremely frustrating. And even though someone may be nearby to give you a jump, your battery may not be able to hold its charge any longer. And you need a new battery. But you don't want to pay a mechanic an arm and a leg to replace it for you. So what do? Well, I'm here to tell you how you can replace the 12-volt battery in your car so that next time this happens to you, you can handle it. Replacing a battery is fairly simple, as long as you have the correct tools and you have bought the correct battery from the auto parts store. Now, as long as you don't mind getting your fingers dirty and you're physically able to lift a battery out and back into your engine bay, they are sometimes up to 50 pounds, you can do this in your driveway in a small amount of time. I myself have replaced over a dozen batteries, and I'd like to give you the instruction you need to do it yourself. Now, to do this, you will need 2 pairs of latex gloves, a pair of safety glasses, either an 8 or 10 millimeter wrench or socket with ratchet, a Phillips head screwdriver, and a flathead screwdriver. You'll also need a battery post terminal wire brush cleaner. Battery cleaning fluids are available and are recommended, but not necessary. Now, if you're doing this at night, make sure that you have plenty of lighting to get the job done. Let's go over some of the dangers of changing the battery in your car. Now, although it's a very simple procedure, keep in mind that a 12-volt battery does contain a mixture of sulfuric acid and water. And it is a very harmful mixture. It can irritate your skin and your eyes, and over time it seeps out of the top of the battery, causing corrosion around the posts and terminals. If this corrosion is present, that is a sign that the battery is seeping out acid and water, and that's exactly why you want to wear gloves and eye protection. Now, the next thing is 12 volts is not really all that much power. It's a fairly small amount of electricity, but it still can give you quite the shock. So be careful not to lay tools across the top of your battery. If you do connect positive to negative, it'll give you a pretty nice jolt, and it doesn't feel very good, so be careful. Now, first off, let's locate the components that you will be focusing on today. In most cars, the battery is underneath the hood in the engine bay at the front of the vehicle. Some batteries are located in the trunk or behind a passenger seat or even between the front tire and the front bumper somewhere. But we're mainly going to be focusing on disconnecting the battery and its hardware, and not necessarily the location that it is found in. Next, the posts are located either on the top of the battery, like so, or on the side of the battery. And some batteries even have both options available. So pay attention to which one you're working with so you can use the right tools to take care of that. The next thing is the terminals. These are the clamps that connect the battery to the vehicle's electronic system via the posts. And the last thing is the battery's hold down bracket. Now, this is usually made of a thin steel or a thick rubber, and has a couple nuts and bolts or some sort of clamping system to hold the battery in place while driving. Now, to disconnect the battery, locate the post and terminal with the negative symbol on it first. You always want to disconnect the negative side first to safely disconnect the electrical system so that there's no issues with it arcing on a piece of metal somewhere. When you do so, place the negative terminal inside of a latex glove and keep it out of the way. Next, find the post and terminal with the positive symbol. That is the positive side of the battery. And once you disconnect that, do the same thing and just place it inside of one of these latex gloves and keep it out of the way. Next, disconnect the battery hold down bracket. It sometimes will be across the top of the battery and have a nut in the front or the back, or sometimes it'll even just be a clamp down here at the bottom of the battery. They use different tools. It's usually a 10 millimeter, 8 millimeter socket or wrench that's needed for that. Once that's out of the way, keep any nuts and washers or bolts somewhere that you're not going to lose them, because you will need them for reinstalling the battery. Once everything's disconnected, you want to pick the battery up out of the car and grab the new battery and place it back into the battery tray. Check the terminals before you reconnect the battery to the terminals to the post. If they do need cleaning, you want to run this through the inside of the terminal and clean the corrosion off, and then also on the outside. Any corrosion sitting there needs to be cleaned off. You want to connect the positive terminal to the positive post first. Make sure that it's nice and tight so that you cannot move it with your hand. Next, connect the negative terminal. You always connect the negative last. You do not ever want the negative terminal connected while the positive is not. It can be dangerous. So go ahead and do the same thing over here and tighten it to the point where you cannot move it with your hand. Then make sure that the battery hold down bracket is safely and securely back in place. And that's pretty much it. You have just learned how to replace the 12-volt battery in your car. Now we're ready for startup. Once the battery's terminals and hold downs are secure, check the engine bay for any loose tools or old parts. If they are present, remove them so that they don't fall into the engine's fan or anything dangerous like that. Next, get into the driver's seat and turn the key to the start position. If everything was done correctly, your car should fire right up. So next time you're put in this situation, remember that although the cost of a new battery can be substantial, you can save yourself quite a few bucks by swapping it out yourself. Just by turning a few wrenches and cleaning a few terminals with a wire brush, your new battery should last you a few years. This is a basic skill that will help you many times over in life and can save you a lot of money and frustration. Just remember to always wash your hands afterwards, and don't touch your face or eat anything before you do that. Sulfuric acid is not something you want on your skin or in your digestive system. Once again, I'm Mike, and thank you for listening. Bye-bye.